Thursday evening, March 7, 2013, two of the biggest football clubs in Algeria are about to face off in the finals. The anticipation is at its peak, tension is at maximum level. Everyone is heading to the stadium to witness the showdown, leaving the streets nearly empty. It's the big day, the one the entire city has been waiting for. But not everyone has been waiting for this day for the same reason. 4:44 p.m. The big match has started. Everyone is glued to their screens, and those who couldn't make it to the stadium are watching from home. The streets are empty, no traffic, no noise. Seeing this as the perfect opportunity to ride his new bike, Brahim rushes to his best friend Haroun. Excited, he tells him about his plan to take advantage of the empty streets. Haroun never disappoints. Without hesitation, both kids grab their bikes and head out, racing. But their joy doesn't last long. A random man approaches them and asks, "Hey, do you know which way this block is?" Brahim, hesitating for a moment, quietly replies, "It's that way. It's not very far if you take this shortcut." The man nods and responds, "I just moved here. Could you please walk me there? I'd really appreciate the help." Haroun hesitates, sensing something off, but Brahim reassures him, "It's fine, we'll just show him from a distance." Leaving their bikes just a few feet from their homes, the boys begin walking with the stranger, step by step. They unknowingly stray further and further from the safety of their neighborhood. 6 p.m., the time for the evening snack in Algeria. Brahim's mom calls for her son to come home so he can eat. At the same time, she wants to remind him that it's getting dark outside, that his father will be home soon from work. She steps outside and calls his name, no response. Oh, maybe he's at Haroun's house, she thinks. Without wasting time, she picks up the phone and dials. The phone rings. "Hello, could you tell Brahim to come home, please? I'm waiting for him," she asks. But Haroun's mom sounds nervous. "Wait, I thought he was at your house with Haroun." Silence. A wave of panic washes over Brahim's mom as she quickly calls her husband, who is on his way home. Soon, both families are in distress. It's completely out of character for their sons to miss their evening snack or not return home on time. Within minutes, neighbors gather to help search for the boys. They find their bikes abandoned, but there is no trace for either child. By 8 p.m., the parents report the disappearance to the police. Haroun, 10 years old, and Brahim, 9, are missing. The police waste no time. A K9 unit is dispatched, immediately picking up the boys' scent. The trail leads a couple of blocks away, then suddenly stops. Officers began questioning locals, but most people hadn't seen the boys. They had been too busy watching their football match that evening. Just as the police are about to wrap up their inquiries, an 11-year-old boy hesitantly speaks up. He had been playing outside when he saw Haroun and Brahim getting into a car with a man. But here's the strange part. There was no struggle, no screaming, no fear on their faces. They got into the car as if they knew the man, as if everything was completely normal. And just like that, they vanished into a thin air. The police quickly conclude that the boys have been kidnapped, but identifying the suspect proves difficult. He was wearing a hat and sunglasses, obscuring most of his face. The news spreads like wildfire. Media outlets swarm the families' homes, broadcasting their desperate pleas. two devastated families, begging for the kidnappers to not harm their children, willing to pay any amount to bring them back safely. Then, 5 days later, something happens. The kidnappers responded, and both kids have been finally found. But if this story had a happy ending, we wouldn't be here, right? Earlier that Thursday evening, a car happened to stop in front of an abandoned building that was under construction. Nearby, a woman working at a clothing workshop noticed something strange, and two people, an adult male and an adult female, stepped out. The pair carried a large suitcase and tossed it aside before quickly driving away. Curious and uneasy, the woman urged her co-worker to investigate. It wasn't every day that people dumped a heavy suitcase in an empty street. As the man approached, an unbearable stench hit him. Covering his nose with one hand, he picked up a stick with the other hand and hesitantly prodded the suitcase. "This smells like a rotten food. Why would someone dump it here?" he muttered. Overwhelmed by the full odor, he quickly stepped back and returned to the shop to share what he had found. One of his co-workers, determined, decided to check for himself. As he approached the suitcase, the smell grew even stronger, thick, putrid, and suffocating. But unlike his friend, he crouched down, unlatched the suitcase, and lifted the lid. Inside was a black plastic bag, its contents swelling against the thin material. The stench intensified, making his stomach churn, but he needed to see what was inside. With trembling hands, he peeled back the plastic. What he saw made his blood run cold. A horrifying, sickening sight lay before him, one that he will never be able to forget. Now this is where our story takes a very hard and disturbing turn, so if you are sensitive to graphic and disturbing materials, I suggest that you leave this video or skip to the next. I couldn't sleep for days just by writing those details. Now let's go back to the guy who got to the police station and reported that he found something related to the two missing kids. And that was the same guy who opened the suitcase. Police respond immediately. They lock down the area, announcing that a random suitcase that is full of human remains,
which has been decapitated to pieces, head split from the rest of the body, arms and legs are no longer attached to the body.
Police start searching the area for more clues, and a couple of feet away, police found another clue, but this time it's a plastic bag that also have the same content as the plastic bag. Now I can't imagine how those discovery got the people of the city feel. People were shocked and scared and panicked, cause you only see stuff like this in the movies. Police start a deep investigation and start examining which seems like two bodies. And after a couple of days, the results were here and people heard what they were expecting. The two bags that had been found was indeed the remains of the two kids that were been missing a couple of days ago. The report said that the kids got
assaulted and raped several times before they got shook to death, got their body decapitated to small pieces.
Before put in two separate bags, just like that, two innocent kids full of life and joy were taken away from their loved ones. In the most gruesome and disturbing way, people were furious and both families were broken and devastated, but the only question they had was why? Why would someone do something like this? What were their motive? Money? Wherever the reason, those two kids didn't deserve this. Police immediately started an investigation focusing on the woman who had seen the car that dropped the suitcase. She described the suspect as a thin adult male with a brown skin, dark messy hair. Finding this man became the investigation top priority. However, respond The police also suspected that he wasn't acting alone. For now though, he was their main suspect, and if they could catch him, they might finally uncover the truth. Why had this happened? As days passed, the horrifying news spread across the country. Videos and clips of the tragic incident flooded the internet, making headlines everywhere. Investigators had a small glance at how the suspect might look like, and since the videos were circulating the internet, one of those videos will be the lead to catch the suspect. Finally enough, the suspect appeared to be in one of the video when the police found the suitcase, and the reason why he got identified, because our witness, the woman, watched the video and immediately recognized the person, and she goes to the police and report this. They waste no time, and they immediately got a search warrant and arrest the suspect. During the investigation, he admitted that he was the one who murdered those two boys with a cold-blooded, but he wasn't alone. Those two in the picture were the people who murdered and raped those two innocent kids. The person on the right, called Mamin, 38 years old, a drug dealer who have a past full of crime and violence. The person on the left is Hamza, 21 years old, goes by the nickname Catastrophe, which is translated to the disaster, although he was just 21. He just got out from jail, and after a small period of time, he bought himself a nice car and started wearing expensive clothes. His family were always questioning him from where he's getting the money and wondering if he starts selling drugs again, but he never gave them a strict answer. And after a lot of strong argument with his parents, he left the house. Now let's talk about the relationship between those two. Mamin and Hamza used to date, although the huge age gap between them. In fact, they started their relationship when Hamza was just 16. Mamin was mentoring Hamza and keep him under his wings so he can sell drugs for him. In exchange, Mamin will protect him and give him money. That relationship goes for years till Hamza got arrested and spent some time in jail. And after he got out, he goes back to Mamin, but something changed. Mamin was not into Hamza as before, mentioned that he's getting old and he doesn't like him anymore. Hamza was desperate to save the relationship, although Mamin was a horrible person and a predator. But Hamza always goes back to him, and no matter how the relationship get abusive, and before everything fell off, Hamza comes out with the most horrible and disgusting thing that a person could ever do. He decided that he will offer Mamin other people to satisfy his needs, but Mamin didn't want any people, he wants kids. And Hamza agreed, and Mamin was so happy about the idea. So they started planning their horrific crime. They took days and days to master their perfect plan, until they both agreed on a specific day, March 7. The match day was the perfect day because the street will be empty and law enforcement will likely be the stadium because it's an important match and might get heated and violence in case one of the team lost. So that was the plan. Go outside and pick random boys and drag them to their apartment, and that's what happened. Now Hamza started confessing. He said he didn't want to kill the kids, but Mamin pushed him to do that. He described to the police all the details from the kidnapping day till the day that they found both of the boys' body, or what left of them. Now I could go into the details, but I'm 100% sure that YouTube will demonetize this video. But trust me when I say this, it's not something that you wanna hear. When I read the report and saw the pictures, I couldn't even eat or sleep because the image And the details were so gruesome, and beside all of this, those two monsters records everything and took almost 206 pictures. Police never dropped this recording and images to the public, and I'm sure that they will never do. In fact, it's better that way because of the disturbing and horrible stuff that those two monsters have done to those innocent kids. Hamza said that they wanted to release the kids and run away after that, but Momin decided that it will be so risky, so they killed them both so they can get away with it. And the most haunting thing is, when people were searching for the kids, Hamza was there with them, searching for the kids like he wasn't the one who kidnapped them. Those images will suck in my mind for a long period of time. Now I know that a lot of time passed since 2013, but nothing will bring back the life of the two innocent kids who their mistake were enjoying their bikes, only to have their lives ended in the most gruesome way by those two monsters. I hope they spend the rest of their lives behind bars. All my heart goes to both of the families, although it's hard, but I hope that they moved on with this horrible nightmare. But the horror of the night has never faded, because true nightmares never really end. Somewhere, a mother still set the table for a child who will never come home. Somewhere, a father still wakes up at the night expecting to hear a familiar voice calling for him. Somewhere, a city still remembers the night they realize that monsters aren't in stories, they walk among us.